Welcome back. Been a long time since I used that gear logo for the Oilers. So, the Oilers played against the Ottawa Senators, a team they've beaten 7 times this year. They've made it look easy in a lot of those games. Not today. Today it was more of a game effort from the Ottawa Senators and the returning Marcus Högberg. So, Högberg, important early saves for him. There was a post for Kara. Also at the other end of the ice was Koskinen. It's important for Koskinen to have a good game because Mike Smith, of course, has taken a lot of starts, and Koskinen needs to show, yeah, no, you guys can lean on me every now and then too. The shots were only 2-1 for the Oilers at 4.5 minutes, and it felt like the Senators needed to weather that first 10 minutes. That you'd likely see a lot of pressure from the Oilers. Larson had a chance that went high. The Sens really needed a push at that point, and all eyes were on Högberg. It was talked about the whole way through because the Oilers destroyed Högberg the last time they saw him. So he acquitted himself pretty darn well today. First half was good puck control and good defense for the Oilers. They didn't really give the Senators much to look at. There was a power play for the Oilers, and they score on it. It's Leon Draisaitl from McDavid and Barrie at 12:18. So Draisaitl and Barrie continue to just basically steal the Sens' lunch money every time they play them. The Oilers 15-2-1 when they score first, and at that stage of the game, 12 minutes in, Ottawa had 2 shots. So it really looked like this could be lopsided, but Högberg was keeping it close. Koskinen saved a chance for Tkachuk. The Senators get a power play. Shabbat had a chance that was saved, and it felt like maybe the momentum might start to shift. There was a shorthanded chance for sure that was stopped, and it was killed off. McDavid gets pulled down, so the Oilers go to a power play with 2:06 left. Draisaitl had a shot that was saved by Högberg, and a diving stop by Högberg during that penalty kill kept it at 1-0 as Nick Paul made his exit before the end of that first period. So we go to the second. Josh Norris early from Shabbat and Tkachuk at 25 seconds. And you could just feel right from that moment on that the Sens, they're in this. This game isn't going to be that easy. The Senators looked to build some momentum. There was a scrum at the 3:43 mark. Tkachuk had some words with Nurse. That was after he decided to wrangle Draisaitl down to the ice, so totally understandable. Nurse is trying to get him out of there. Nurse is always willing to drop the gloves, and while they talked about it, no glove dropping took place. Tkachuk was basically agitating the Oilers the entire day. Oilers would end up getting a power play out of all of that. The Senators killed that off relatively easily. There was only 1 shot for the Oilers on that power play, so you could feel the momentum had shifted. And the Sens really needed to build on that. It's a tie game. You need to build on a great penalty kill. The first half was more of a grind, and if the game is a grind, it feels like that neutralizes some of Edmonton's skill, and it gives Ottawa a better chance. Senators were choking off the middle of the ice. There were chances for the Senators with 6.5 minutes left, and that was against the McDavid line. They had the McDavid line hemmed into their own zone, so really good play by Ottawa at that stage of the game. Senators get a power play with 4:49 left, but it had 1 shot. It was killed off by the resilient Oilers, who then score. Draisaitl again from McDavid and Barrett, 17:26. So McDavid with a couple of assists. It was from a tough angle. It's one of those ones that it's a Draisaitl goal. It's a tough break for Ottawa because they played really well in that second period, and yet they emerged from it still down by 1 goal. Third period. Again with the early goal by the Ottawa Senators, Connor Brown, who is now on a 5-game goal streak. He scores from Riley and Zub at 1:02, and it was kind of an out-of-nowhere goal. It just didn't look like much of a play, and then Brown puts it in the net. So that tied it up at 2, and you could see that for the Oilers, this was concerning, right? You've now given up 2 goals early in 2 straight periods. Nurse then had a chance that was saved. The Senators get some pressure of their own. Puljujarvi had a chance that was kicked out, and then the Sens tried for a fast break after that. They were trying for some home run passes there, and kudos for the effort on that one. Connor Brown had a chance. Koskinen makes the save. The shots were 6-6 at the half. I'm also going to apologize. Green shirt day, and there are no green jerseys that I possess of the Edmonton Oilers. I don't have an Oilers St. Patrick's Day jersey, so apologies on that one. So, yeah, the shots were 6-6 at the half. The Oilers pressed with 7 minutes left, and that pressure just builds and builds and builds, and eventually The dam's going to break, especially when you got McDavid in beast mode, getting the goal from Draisaitl and Barrie at 13:54. So this is where it's unfair. Ottawa's played a really good game. You've got Draisaitl from McDavid, Draisaitl from McDavid, McDavid from Draisaitl. These two are pretty good together. Makes for a pretty darn good line. And it's really hard to stop, right? Senators tried to answer. Then at the other end of the ice, Yamamoto was denied as the play starts opening up back and forth. Puljujarvi hits the outside of the post with a chance that he had. The Senators pull the goalie with 1 minute and 30 seconds left. They called a timeout with 1 minute and 12 seconds left. This was a timeout that really benefited both teams. For the Oilers, you want to keep your best players fresh, so the timeout works for you as much as it works for Ottawa to come up with a plan to try to tie things up. Koskinen then robbed Stützle, just denied him. And then at 19:59, as the clock's running out, Draisaitl gets an empty netter from McDavid, which wouldn't normally mean anything, but it is his 4th career hat trick in regular season, his 5th overall. He has a playoff shutout or playoff hat trick as well. And so the Oilers win this one 4-2. They go to 8-0 against Ottawa. They're 24-14-2, which means against anybody that's not Ottawa, they're 16-14-2. So Ottawa, give them a gift basket. These teams play again tomorrow. So Ottawa 13-23-4. I don't know what more Ottawa could have done. I thought Ottawa played a really good game. Just, it's the Oilers, it's Connor McDavid, it's Leon Draisaitl. And then Sportsnet Stats put up a bunch of numbers about how many points these guys have scored against Ottawa this year, these guys being Draisaitl and McDavid, the goals and the points, and how it hadn't been seen in the NHL since Wayne Gretzky against the Kings and the Canucks, and I think they said it was 87-88. And all I could think was, yeah, I remember. I remember when Gretzky would score 15 points a game against Vancouver. At least it felt that way. And against the Kings, because both teams were, well, where the Senators are now, that's where the Kings and the Canucks resided for large portions of the 80s. So the shots in this game, 17-7 Edmonton in the first, and then the Sens got better. They outshot them 12-8 in the second and 11-10 in the third. Final shots 35-30 for the Oilers. Power plays, Edmonton 1 for 3, Ottawa 0 for 2. Blocked shots 35-25 for Ottawa. It was a heavy hitting game. I don't know how many of those were Tkachuk, but I'll say it was more than a couple. Block shots were 15-8 for Edmonton. I'm surprised if block shots weren't more plentiful. Koskinen saves 28 out of 30. He was good. Kind of lost in the whole narrative of Draisaitl and McDavid is that Koskinen had a very good game. And Högberg saves 31 out of 34. One of the better games he's played this year. I know it's another loss. I know it's a tough take for him. But still, he saved over 90% of the shots he faced. That's a step up from the last time when they just shelled him. Your 3 stars in this game. No surprise on the 3 stars. Draisaitl, McDavid, and Connor Brown. So, the Oilers win this one 4-2. We have 4 other games to talk about later on tonight. Those will all be in one video at the end of the night. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding this game. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.